politically it's smart for her to be MIA, because every time she shows up and starts getting involved in politics, something always goes bad, whether it be her saying, we're dead broke, or going on a book tour that was a flop, or, arguing with Senator Johnson over Benghazi. Every time she shows up, something bad happens. So, and I'm not just being tongue-in-cheek. I think it's something that people on both sides of the aisle can agree that she's not really good at politics.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, from the head of the RNC. And now we go to Alex Roarty, chief political correspondent for National Journal, and he's written a great piece, Predictive Intelligence. If you think Hillary Clinton's likely to win, think again. Hello, Alex.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Popular thought process is that Hillary is not only going to, just a waltz to the Democratic nomination, but that she's the favorite, prohibitive favorite, if you will, to win the presidency, God forbid, in my view. But you talk to people and relate that in your column, not Hillary haters, not Republicans, but political scientists who have models and go back to the time of Truman, who say not so fast.
Right, and it's kind of a surprising source of skepticism of her chances. But these people who basically who did what Nate Silver does before Nate Silver, and unlike Nate Silver, they don't use polls. What they use in these models or algorithms that they build to project the vote, they're just looking at three factors. They're looking at the incumbent president's approval rating. They're looking at economic growth, GDP growth, in the second quarter of the election year. And the third one, and this is really the one that's most important for Hillary right now, they're looking at how many terms one party has already controlled the White House. In this case, it would be 2 for the Democratic Party. And that's how they project the vote. And if you look at sort of like current conditions and you push that forward to the summer of next year, it actually, if anything, shows that Hillary is a slight underdog at this point, which, like you indicated, does kind of go contra conventional wisdom in most of Washington right now.
And you also point out that these models, while based on scientific research, are not perfect.
Right. Well, they're not perfect. There is a lot of built-in uncertainty, like the way we will talk about polls with a margin for error. That's the same way with these models. And there is a little hesitancy because, again, like you said, we are going back to 1948 and Harry Truman to pull all this together. In and of itself, that's only 17 presidential elections, which isn't a whole lot. And in terms of presidential races in which there is not an incumbent, they've only had 5 opportunities to do this. So there is some, among the political scientists who have come up with these models, there is some hesitancy. But look, at the same time, just in talking with many of them, their own off-the-cuff sense is that Hillary is no better than a 50-50 favorite at this point. So they're by no means bullish, even with some of that uncertainty built in.
All right, let's talk a little politics here. What do you think took place at the Hillary Elizabeth Warren meeting at Hillary's Washington residence?
I think there was probably some old school schmoozing between the two, and my guess would be, Hillary is at this point really trying to make sure that Elizabeth Warren does not launch a primary run. Now, of course, the senator from Massachusetts has said time and time again that she won't, but that doesn't mean she won't change her mind. And Hillary may be doing the smart thing right now. And there's a lot to be said about the differences between their policy positions, but just even that personal connection sometimes can go a long way. And if Clinton has helped maybe cultivate that now after this meeting, if she can show that they're at least somewhat on the same page, maybe that can hold up not just Elizabeth Warren from running, but criticizing Hillary Clinton for the next year to try to get her to be on the same page.
And with foreign policy so much dominating the news, and of course a lot could change, but I just don't see this situation going away. She's really going to have a lot to answer for, is she not? From Benghazi to Boko Haram, not calling them a terrorist group, to to Russia, to the war on terror, you name it.
Sure. And, and this is the one area in particular where she's going to have the most difficulty separating herself from President Obama. She can do that a little bit more on a domestic front, but because she was his Secretary of State in his first term, of course, and you've already seen a lot of Republicans say this, essentially Obama's foreign policy is Clinton's foreign policy, and right now Obama's foreign policy is not terribly popular. And it's quite a reversal from just the last presidential election. You'll remember foreign policy was something of a strength for President Obama when he went up against Mitt Romney. Likely not going to be the case in 2016.
Very interesting. Always great to talk. Alex, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we shall see what we shall see with regards to Hillary. When we come back, though, former federal prosecutor, the man who put the blind sheik in jail, you know him, you love him, you read him, you hear him, Andy McCarthy will be here, and we're going to talk about ISIS terrorists possibly crossing into this country as refugees from Syria. Don't go away.